Welcome to Module 4, Machine Learning Techniques. In this module, we'll explore different types of machine learning, including supervised and unsupervised learning, as well as deep learning. We'll also look at specific machine learning techniques like regression, classification, clustering, and dimensionality reduction, which are key to understanding how AI systems operate. Supervised learning is a type of machine learning where the algorithm is trained using labeled data, meaning we know the correct output for each input. The goal is to make predictions or classify new data based on what the model has learned from the training data. For example, supervised learning is used in email spam detection, where the system learns from labeled emails marked as spam or not spam to classify future emails. The main techniques used in supervised learning are regression and classification. Let's start with regression. Regression is used when we want to predict a continuous value based on input data. For example, predicting house prices based on factors like the number of rooms, square footage, and location. The algorithm learns from past data to make predictions about new, unseen data. To summarize, regression models are perfect for scenarios where we are dealing with quantities or continuous data. Next, we have classification. Classification is used to categorize data into predefined classes or groups. A classic example is spam detection, where emails are classified into either spam or not spam. The model learns from labeled examples to classify new data. Classification is particularly useful when you're dealing with binary outcomes or multiple categories, such as detecting fraudulent transactions or diagnosing diseases from medical data. Now, let's move on to unsupervised learning. In unsupervised learning, the model works with data that doesn't have labeled outcomes. Instead, the goal is to find hidden patterns or structures within the data. For example, customer segmentation is often done within supervised learning, grouping customers based on similar behavior or characteristics. The key techniques in unsupervised learning include clustering and dimensionality reduction. Clustering is one of the main techniques in unsupervised learning. It involves grouping data points based on shared characteristics. For instance, you could group customers into clusters based on their purchasing habits, which helps companies target different segments more effectively. Unlike classification, where we know the categories, in clustering, the model discovers these groups or patterns on its own. Another key technique in unsupervised learning is dimensionality reduction. This is used to reduce the number of input variables in a dataset while retaining the most important information. It's particularly helpful when dealing with high-dimensional data, like images or genomic data. By simplifying the data, we can make analysis faster and more efficient while still retaining the essential information needed for accurate predictions. Now let's talk about deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning but deserves special attention because of its power and complexity. Deep learning uses neural networks that are inspired by the structure of the human brain. These networks have multiple layers that allow them to learn from vast amounts of data. Deep learning is used in tasks like image recognition, natural language processing, and even self-driving cars. What sets it apart is its ability to automatically discover the features in raw data without needing manual feature engineering. Let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. For each task, decide whether it involves clustering, classification, or another machine learning technique. Grouping customers based on their purchasing behavior. This is an example of clustering. as you're discovering natural groupings in the data, predicting whether a loan applicant will default on a loan. This is an example of classification, as you're assigning each applicant to one of two categories: default or no default. To wrap up, here are the key takeaways from this module. Supervised learning uses labeled data to make predictions or classifications, with regression and classification being the main techniques. Unsupervised learning finds patterns in data without labeled outcomes, with clustering and dimensionality reduction being the key methods. Deep learning takes machine learning to the next level, allowing models to learn from large data sets through multiple layers of neural networks. Understanding these machine learning techniques is essential for building AI systems that can analyze data, make predictions, and generate insights.